But my father came back to New York, and from New York, he used to support us in Puerto Rico. But then they had personal problems, and we ended up going back to my father to New York, to the Bronx again. So I was 14 at that age, you know? It was hard at that time.
So Miss Carmen, where were you born?
I was born in the Bronx in New York City.
In the Bronx in New York City. And how long did you live there?
I was raised there. I lived there till I was at least 12 years old with my parents.
Okay, and tell me about growing up in the Bronx. What are some of the things that are unique to the Bronx?
Oh, it was wonderful. I had uh, great parents. It was great. It was, we were always together. We were always, we had a lot of friends. My father was great. He worked as a super in Vice Avenue. And he used, make his money. We lived very well, you know. Um, we always together. We always used to do everything together. We used to go fishing together. Um, we used to go play baseball together. We used to go bike riding together, and it was so much fun. It was really fun, you know.
And so is it quite common for Puerto Rican families to be together and close like that?
Oh, of course, always. Puerto Ricans, family are always, mostly always together. You know, they always, they always have parties. They party together. They go out together, and they communicate with each other, with people outside. They're fun. It's a fun family. It's a fun growing up with Puerto Rican family. It is. It's a lot of love.
A lot of love.
A lot of love.
Okay, and so I know in the Bronx there's a huge zoo. Did you guys go to the zoo a
Oh,
lot?
yes. We went to the Bronx Zoo in New York, in the Bronx, and it was wonderful. My father used to take us there uh, every 2 weeks, and we saw all kinds of animals, giraffe, monkeys. It's a beautiful big park. It's a nice place for family to go there with their children, you know, because it is really fun, you know. We had a great time. It were good memories come by every time I think about it. I feel like I'm walking around with my father and my mother, and my brothers and sisters. It was really nice.
How many siblings do you have?
We're four. There's two brothers and us two sisters, one more sister. We're four.
Okay, and did you go to school in the Bronx, also in New York?
Oh, yes, we went to school in the Bronx. Uh, I remember, I think it was PS6. Yes, we all went to that school, elementary school there, till I was, till I graduated from there. Then after that, uh, we, my father and my mother wanted to go to Puerto Rico, so we went to Puerto Rico to live because he wanted to start a new life in Puerto Rico again. Because you see, my mother and my father are from Puerto Rico. They were raised in Puerto Rico, but they went to live to New York. That's where they had us children. Then after when I was 12, we went to Puerto Rico, and he left my mother there for about 2 years till I was 14. And they bought a beautiful house in Arroyo. And no, they bought a beautiful house. It was in Juncos. And it was really nice. We stood there for 2 years, but my father came back to New York, and from New York, he used to support us in Puerto Rico. But then they had personal problems, and we ended up going back to my father to New York, to the Bronx again. So I was 14 at that age, you know? It was hard at that time because my mother had sold the house, so we didn't have any place to live. And the place where we used to live in the Bronx, Vice Avenue, had changed completely in those 2 years. It was really bad. Everybody changed. Like it was a lot of drugs, and I didn't understand what was it because I'd never used drugs. I was still a young girl, 14 years old. So I got a little bit scared to go out to meet people. It was a challenge for me to get used to living from where I used to live, came from, to what I had to live and face now. That everything had changed in just 2 years.